Segment of the AM show, which is on every Wednesday, courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Now, having escaped a near delisting from the Ghana Stock Exchange last year, the managing director of cocoa processing company says the company is working its way to profitability. The introduction of 19 new varieties has boosted the company's fortunes, cutting its losses by some 48%. On AM Business today, we hear from the managing director, Nana Ajeni on the states of the company and its new ventures.
Established in 1965, the cocoa processing company was one of the early factories set up to help us process Ghana's prized commodity, that's the cocoa. Now, right here at this factory in Tema, two key things take place. That is the processing and the confectionery. Now, the processing ensures that the cocoa is processed into semi-finished products like the cocoa powder, cocoa cake, the liquor, and the cocoa butter. Whereas the confectionery section gives us the finished product, which is our chocolate bars, the cocoa beverages that we have, and many more. So we are going to get an update on the status of this particular company and delve more into their new side, which is the artisanal side of chocolate processing.
And we see this institution as very good, and we rolled out our program, and that's where we think that we are here. So we are not yet out, but what we've been doing is trying to reduce our losses year by year. And ever since that time, it has always been like that. And that's what also the Ghana Stock Exchange saw and got us back, because they saw that it was something which we all had to carry it on.
When you say you've been putting in processes to reduce your losses, what kind of measures were you putting in place to reduce your loss? And for the sake of the business community, by what percentage are we seeing the losses decline over the few years?
We can say that if you take 2 years, it's reduced from 10 to 5.3, which would be the last 2018-19. So what it means is that we're doing about 48% reduction now. And all has been because presently we have a tolling program, which one factory during the bad times, we had to do a tolling arrangement. CPC has a 64,500 ton capacity, which is 2 factories in one. So we have one factory during the Kwame Nkrumah time of 34,500, and President Kufuor also had a second one of a 30,000. Then the third one is the confectionery, which is 3,000. So this 64.5, we are on one and they are also on another. So it's like our beans, we cannot process our own beans. And as you know, anything about tolling cannot be same as your own. And that's what is giving us the limit as to our expansion. But that notwithstanding, that's what we are still saying, that we will review as the expiration of the contract agreement, whether we will still have to go and add on. And I'm saying this because with the support of the government and the sector minister, we've got some facilities which in course of time on your questions we will expand. Afraism is giving us $70 million for us to increase the whole output and retool some of the machines, meaning that we will have room for expansion. So now the Afraism level is in the due diligence process. We've gone far, cleared everything. Now we are doing the machinery and the legal levels. From that level, when it's cleared, that's where then the disbursements come in. So I can say that all in all, latest, if not by March and then first week April, was started. And what is going to happen is that we will be using these funds on CAPEX to retool some of the old and obsolete machinery during the Kwame Nkrumah time, then also expand. So the current capacity of 64,500 will increase to 81,000. We also want to increase the confectionery from 3,000 to 15,000 because Ghanaians have accepted the market, and also we are having some contrast from outside, which would necessitate that we need to do an expansion.
Moving away from the state of the company, now that we are putting it in position, what did you identify as some of the challenges besides what you've mentioned, and what kind of measures now would we need in place, or support from government that we need to make things work?
The first level was respect to the mindset and our operational levels. So with the support of the board, we've put in a performance management system in place where the deliverables are defined for all of us. So it's like we cannot say that somebody has to go home. But the question is, when you're coming to work, you need to define what you have to do. And there are several things which we are trying to do to save costs. We were on the Ghana water. We've sunk 6 boreholes now, so at least it's reduced our water level. The next thing that we wanted to get into was our utility. Averagely, we're spending $560,000 a month, or $6.8 million a year. And we looked at it and said, what can we do? And that is also where we want to get into the biomass projects, where we want to use cocoa pod husk and cocoa shells to generate power and steam, and the excess product of the potash and the charcoal pellets will sell. And then one may ask, how feasible is this project? And that's what we can demonstrate here. Because as you have it here, in the normal upcountry level, you have this cocoa pod where the farmers will crack. This is where they have it as the bean. So this level goes off, and this wild pulp is left on the plantain for 5 days for fermentation process. And here also, when we get into the value added, I'll explain what we can do more. So this thing is just left in the upcountry on the farms, and it gets on as a natural fertilizer. But the question is, do we have something that we can do? And we say yes. So with this and the cocoa shell, is where we want to use. And at the end of the day, we've been able to have CP Green Energy through HORATS with the support of Energy Commission. They are assisting us. And we've done the interview for consultants. They are going to do the due diligence. We've started with the geotechnical engineering on the soil. When we are through with it, this 14 million, we'll be doing $414,000 every month against the 560. In 5 years' time, when we pay off the facility, the only cost will be the collection of the pots upcountry to us, which is another job creation. So that is where after 5 years, we'll reduce our cost of operation by 63%. So instead of $6.8 million, it will come to 2.5.
The President has highlighted a lot of value addition for our Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Can you tell us more about this factory in terms of value addition, and what more you intend to do to contribute to this Ghana Beyond Aid?
Here, we took up the challenge of the Ghana Beyond Aid and the value addition as a practical test case. And I say this because most of the time, when some of these things come up, it's assumed that is a normal political talk. But with a greater respect and for this opportunity, I just want the whole world and Ghanaians to accept and let us all walk in the same direction. Reason being that if at the end of his term, whoever comes to take over, if we all guide it up, it will help everybody. So the question that comes up is that, what are you talking about? CPC or Ghana beans is the institution with the only single origin. Any other product elsewhere is not from one country. And so if you have a premium of a product, then we all know what cocoa is about, then it means that you can use that advantage and do more. Then it comes up to, what is it of acceptability? Because what is it, that brand, that when you get it in the market? And that's how we rebranded on 13th December. So here, as you see these products, is where we're talking about it as the same artisanal chocolates. This artisanal chocolate, for the purpose of this interview, for which I will not mention any names, is in ranges of 18 billion to 20 billion revenue for some countries. And so we said, what is it that is here that cannot be done? When we took office, we as part of our program wanted to do the cocoa entrepreneurship, that is training them also to get into the market. But the per capita consumption of Ghanaians made it not too much. So that's how we took up the challenge ourselves and ordered. And now we are creating employment for 40 SSS students doing 2-shift system. So the branding now, as you have it here, can match any product anywhere. The other product also is the exotic nuts. Because like somebody will say that, oh, I have chocolate of almond, I have chocolate of walnut, I have chocolate of macadamia. So then it's also here. So you go to any supermarket, we can match it. Then we said, can we bring it out in this kilo form of this same 9 flavors? So as you see it here, this is caramel, this is mint, the red one is Irish cream. You have white chocolate with nibs, milk chocolate with nibs, strawberry, ginger, coffee. So these are all, that is what we said, that anything outside, stop importation, you can have it here. And I can say with pride that it's been very well with us. So like earlier times that one will order for hampers, we are having it here. Then we came up with a challenge of also adding up with the only one that we had of the peanut. So here now we had 6 different variants, where also as a value addition, we are using tiger nut and peanut. We are using cashew and peanut. We are using hazelnut, we are using almond, sugar-free. Reason being that CPC is a family table, so that from the toddler to the old man, when you get to the table, there should be something for everybody. We got here into the dark chocolate, and also in some countries, the highest as at then was 65%. So now in the whole world now, CPC is on the 90. So when we go now here, it's then also on packaging. So just like this can compare. Somebody will come up and say, white chocolate. And I say, what is it about white chocolate? So that's what's also here. So all in all is where we break down also to these levels, where, as I said, is the family table. So we had this all-time drinking chocolate. That is when you're in the formative, you need the potassium, manganese, and all these things. As you grow, then you're looking at your sugar levels. So this is also with the low sugar. We also had the coffee addicts who said, I'm a coffee addict. Okay, we can also do cocoa with, because the bottom line is that we just wanted you to understand that continuous consumption of cocoa is for life. When you have the bean and you get the nibs and you press, it is cocoa butter and cocoa cake. This cocoa butter is in free food, the cosmetic, the pharmaceutical, and the food. So like the Palmer's cocoa butter and the first that you are bringing is from this. Then also is this with respect to the curvature. The curvature is like the primary stage of a first product activity, which we do, and we also want to break it down to those who are also into the confectionery. And we are saying that those that have come to train here and they are doing chocolate on a small scale, at least when you walk into any of this, you can buy this one and you can do your own pastries or chocolate at home. So this is how we launched it in that small level, so that at least we can allow everybody some levels of affordability, and then we can have all that money here, which can also create jobs.
What kind of revenues are we seeing that the confectionery side generates for the company, at least, let's say, on a monthly basis since it started?
I'll talk generic. And here also is to support the cost of the value added. Because one will look at it and say, 10 billion to 120, oh, you people, it's not true. But I will not speak for anybody, I'll speak for CPC. Nationally, 4,089 tons of cocoa beans when you sell the beans. Even now that Cocoa Board wants to get into the LID system, granted, we're admitting that even if the price is say 2,008 or even 3,000, what it means that we'll sell these beans at $12 million. This same 4,089 tons beans, when it's processed into this tertiary level, will be able to do 5,000 tons of chocolate and 5,000 tons of drinking chocolate cocoa powder. Here, the 5,000 tons chocolate, which I sell here, including tax, and the cocoa powder, which I supply the schools through national buffer. Total, if I should have that 4,000 tons beans to process as a bean to bar, it will be equivalent revenue earning to CPC for $52 million.
$54 million to $52 million.
Yes. So if all of us should agree and decide that CPC should do a bean to bar, what it means that 81,000 tons capacity now will be times 20. So 20 or 52 will be 1,040,000,000 against 12 times 20 of 240. So 240 will be 1.1 billion. So what it means that gross CPC can get the money that we use to finance the whole 1.3 billion. And there are some factories like that that are doing bean to bar for 64,000. So this is how I want to use these opportunities, that the Ghana Beyond Aid, or the value addition, it is something which all of us must embrace, so that be as that is may, whoever comes, if we all have it like this, we all accept the package coming into force of the African Trade Commission that is coming, which will rather give advantage to local processors against others. By the time maybe July, August, that would have gone through these teaching processes, and then we rather will have beyond advantage. But then what the question would be acceptability. So if now your product is there, your product matches the international, it is within the certified certificates, that means Ghana is the winner.
And that's your AM Business today, focusing on the CPC. I hope that you did enjoy that. We do this every Wednesday here on our show, courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Make a date with us next week. Up next is AM Talk. Our guest is Thomas Musa, his General Secretary of NATS, and he joins Roland Walker in a conversation. Well, many things coming out from the educational sector, including the new education bill. Details on AM Talk.